Welcome to this Masterclass Explainer, Advanced Learners. Imagine you're at a delicate international summit. A top diplomat can't just say, "You're wrong." Instead, they use language as a sophisticated diplomatic shield. At the C2 level, it's not just about being correct. Grammar actually becomes a tool of absolute power. Today, we're mastering the art of epistemic distancing.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to follow this exact 6-part roadmap today. First up, the power of distancing. Second, defining sophisticated modality. Third, seeing distancing in action. Fourth, avoiding the overhedging trap. Fifth, register and social constraints. And finally, a rule summary and quiz. So, Section 1, the power of distancing. At this stage in your language journey, grammar is no longer just about basic correctness. It's entirely about pragmatics and power. It's literally how leaders control the narrative. Let's say you're delivering a stressful financial update. It would appear that our initial projections may well require adjustment. Do you see how that structure softens the claim? It actively protects you from direct criticism. If those numbers turn out to be completely wrong, you aren't held entirely culpable. The language itself acts as a highly effective syntactic buffer.
Moving on to Section 2, defining sophisticated modality. Let's introduce the theoretical foundation of these tools before we really break down the mechanics.
Here is your clear C2 level definition. Epistemic distancing uses sophisticated modal and semi-modal constructions. It lets you express exact degrees of probability. And, crucially, it shields your authorship of the claim. Now, this is very different from standard deontic obligation. Deontic modality is like saying it must be done. Epistemic probability is evaluating the likelihood of truth. It lets you gracefully step back from absolute certainty.
Let's look at the actual syntactic mechanics here. According to Quirk's Comprehensive Grammar of the English Language and Swan's Practical English Usage, we achieve this distance using specific lexical markers. Phrases like, "it would appear that," act as introductory shields. Combine those with subtle modals like may well or might just, and you create cautious probability. These tools meticulously soften absolute claims. They give you invaluable professional and diplomatic breathing room.
Section 3, distancing in action. And this brilliantly illustrates the grammar at work. Let's analyze 3 concrete, high-level professional contexts.
First up, a formal academic context. The recent data would seem to indicate a shift, would seem to indicate works perfectly here. It protects the researcher from absolute certainty. If new data comes out tomorrow that contradicts this, the researcher's academic credibility remains completely unblemished. It's a really elegant safety net.
Next, let's navigate a delicate corporate setting. You might want to consider revising the deliverables. This is hypothetical distancing at its absolute finest. In reality, this functions as a direct managerial order, but it's wrapped up nicely as a polite suggestion. It maintains the hierarchy without causing any interpersonal friction.
Finally, consider a sophisticated conversational context. They were said to have compromised the initial negotiations. Here, we're using a modal perfect paired with distancing. It actively detaches you from a highly sensitive rumor. You can effectively report this volatile information while safely refusing to take ownership of the claim. Section 4, the overhedging trap. I really have to warn you about this next part. It's the most frequent mistake C2 candidates actually make.
So, the crucial point is avoiding redundancy. Look at the incorrect phrasing. It must probably be that. This completely collapses the epistemic and deontic distinctions. You just can't combine certainty and probability like that. It creates a super awkward semantic clash. Instead, opt for the elegant alternative. It would appear that. This provides the necessary distance without any grammatical confusion. Your stance remains clear, authoritative, and perfectly balanced.
Section 5, register and social constraints. Knowing the grammar is great, but honestly, you have to know exactly when to deploy it.
Use distancing for maximum impact in delicate diplomatic negotiations. It's also absolutely fantastic for nuanced risk assessments. But please abandon it during emergency protocols. When a crisis demands decisive, immediate leadership, using epistemic distancing will severely undermine your authority. In those critical moments, you risk sounding evasive, weak, or frustratingly indecisive. Context ultimately dictates your grammatical choices. Section 6, Rule Summary and Quiz. Let's quickly wrap up this explainer. We want to really cement this core concept. Here is your essential C2 rule to remember. Epistemic distancing elegantly shields your authority. Instead of saying, you made an error, you say, there would seem to be an anomaly. It's a real game changer for your professional communication. Ready to put this mastery to the test? Go ahead and jump right into the Module M03 quiz. Mastering English at the highest levels isn't about being loud. It's about speaking with calculated, strategic intelligence. So will you leave yourself vulnerable with absolute certainty? Or will you guide the room from safely behind a diplomatic shield? The choice and the power is now yours. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.